Cheerio. So, you're not going to believe I have to say this, but these are simply my opinions. I actually heard, I don't know if it was an attorney or they acted like one, but someone from the Adelson family watched my last video and I received a nasty gram. So again, these are my opinions. I'm going to talk about this Kentucky case where the sheriff shot the judge. If you're involved in this, don't watch this unless you have a thick stomach, because I may make some crude comments. I really enjoy people watching. I assume you've heard about this. Last year, I don't know when, June or July. I know it was last year. The sheriff of the county, Lecture County, which is down at the bottom of Kentucky. So I don't know if I can shape this way. So Kentucky is flat, and then on the western side it goes up and then down towards the eastern side. If you take Virginia and flip it upside down with the flat part at the bottom, that's sort of what Kentucky looks like. Well, they're down in the bottom part, eastern Kentucky, where most of the ladies use chewing tobacco. It's a little bit different. You probably have to do a DNA test before you start getting naked with someone to make sure that there are no connections there. Very, very little town. The Judge Mullins. So this sheriff, they called him Mickey. His first name was Sean, S-H-A-W-N. Is that weird? To me, Sean is S-E-A-N. But anyway, so Mickey, the sheriff, walks into the judge's chambers, closes the door. Now, the judge's chambers in Lecture County are not what you would imagine in your county. Excuse me for a moment. Sorry. If I knew what I was doing, I would cough and edit that out. The back of the wall, the judge is sitting at his desk, and the back of the wall is a concrete wall like you have in your gym in high school. It's painted white, but definitely not the way you would imagine. Sheriff walks in, closes the door, has a few words with the judge, and then pulls his pistol out, and like a proper man, boom, boom. Actually, he only had to boom once, and he unalived old Judge Mullins. Why would someone do that? Especially the sheriff of a town. My goodness. Turns out the town is a big, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, S-E-X ring. The judge at one point was the assistant prosecutor or the assistant Commonwealth attorney, probably the same thing, in this town. And he was doing this S-E-X stuff way back then. So I enjoy people watching. I'm not very nice. I don't ever say anything out loud. I never would offend someone. I say it to my man or the boy, and often with the boy I say, this is not very nice, but that woman should not be wearing that shirt. Things like that. The woman, oh my goodness, if you watch this, I'm so sorry. She's fine, but she's become a little bit heavy. A lot of people, their appearance changes as they lose weight. Now, it doesn't change the way Sharon Osbourne, she's become hollow now. You know who John Goodman is? He was the husband on the television show Roseanne. And he was a large man. Well, he's the same way now. He's all hollow and thin. Do you know that Serena Williams, she's a famous tennis player. Apparently, she's one of Meghan Markle's best friends. You don't ever see them together, but they're best friends. She's doing an ad now for one of the weight loss shots. What? Huh? And she looks great now. She's obviously been using it. You have millions and millions of dollars. Your husband has the same. Combined, you may be worth $1 billion. And you're hustling some weight loss shot that they still haven't figured out if it's going to ultimately hurt people. I have seen a few doctors on YouTube say, do not use this, and here is why. And I watch the first couple of minutes, and then I get over it because I don't need to use it. I exercise 6 days a week. Stay active. A body in motion stays in motion. Okay, I need to just zip my mouth about that. Well, anyway, the girl, and I believe her name is Tay or May. I didn't really pay attention to it because it doesn't matter. Well, she opens right up to a man who works for News Nation, I believe. Chris Cuomo went there. I believe it's News Nation. Towards the end of the interview, he asked her, "Why are you coming out and saying this?" And she says, "Well, partly for my safety. I haven't seen one of my cats for an entire day, and I'm worried." Hey, Bart! My cat set off the neighbor's motion thing, and it says, "Hello, you are being recorded." And I just heard that, so I'm hoping it's Bart. Anyway, the woman's overweight, not grotesque or anything. She's wearing a strapless shirt, and maybe just not strapless, a spaghetti strap shirt. She's a couple tattoos right here. But, honey bunny, you don't wear a t-shirt that covers your arms a little bit, especially if you have Alba arms. Goodness. If you don't know what Alba arms, ask me and I'll tell you. I may do a whole quick little episode about Alba arms. But that's what she states, that part of the reason she's coming out and being so open is for safety. And I 100% agree with that. Because if she suddenly disappears, people are going to know why. But if she suddenly disappears, she probably has disappeared forever. And then apparently she's found God, and God is going to watch over her, or I don't know, but the Lord's going to do something for her. It is sort of funny how many people find God. They needed God probably before that. Okay. So when this Judge Mullins was just running the courtroom, when he was speaking to the person running the courtroom, he was involved in this. And here's what she states, how it started. She has multiple arrests, and she says that. She says, "Look at my rap sheet." And then she compares it to something, I don't remember. She may compare it to the Adelson divorce, 4 inches thick. And I guarantee she doesn't have very many convictions. And that's what she says, that the judge brought her back to, or the Commonwealth attorney, she didn't have her own attorney. He said, "Would you like to speak? And we can maybe resolve this." She goes to his office, lifts her shirt up, gives him oral. Oh, wait. Her sister works for the Commonwealth attorney. She was the assistant or something. There's 2 Commonwealth attorneys in this little inbred county. He completes what she begun. Well, I guess he begun it, but she physically begun it. He completes it, and as he's zipping up his pants, says, "Well, it's obviously your sister's not going to find out about this." Okay, well, a couple things. How bad was your charge? It wasn't too bad. You weren't being held in jail. You could have said no. You could have said no and walked right outside and started screaming this. You could have gone to the press. Of course, she thinks, well, all these other people are involved. She doesn't know they're all involved at this point. So maybe it wouldn't have worked out for her had she gone out. But she could have said no. She did not. So I struggle with that a little bit. Hey, if you notice that my teeth are a little white down there, I used this stuff last night from Colgate that you paint on your teeth. It's a whitening stuff. And this is the result. I'm not sure I'm going to try it again. I focused my toothbrush. I use one of those 2-minute toothbrushes that vibrates every 30 seconds. And it's bothering me. I can see it through here. So we have no idea what would have happened had she denied his request. But she did not. And I struggle with that one. She told the News Nation dude there are multiple locations. There were some cabins that they used. Again, what she states is all the officials in this county are involved in this. I'm not sure that Sheriff Mickey, well, he definitely was not involved, but he was well aware of it. And he could have called Kentucky State Police. He could have called the FBI. So I struggle with a lot of this. She states they rented an apartment and they had put mirrors all over the ceiling. It had a bidet in there. I wonder why it would have a bidet. All the drugs they wanted, anything they wanted, was supplied in this apartment. So some dude gets busted, with a half ounce of marijuana. And the next thing you know, the judges and the Commonwealth's attorneys are smoking about it. And remember, this is just my opinion, and this is all allegedly. One time she got a speeding ticket, which was quite excessive. I will interrupt for a moment. Myself, Meredith, I have not received a speeding ticket since 1994. I have been pulled over. I was pulled over once with the last husband, and the cop let me go, and he's like, it's wrong. Had I been pulled over, I would have gotten a ticket, and he probably would have added 5 miles to it. And of course, I reply, well, it's just because I'm so kind and polite, and the big eye rolls. And you are. If you're kind and nice, you have no idea what that sheriff's going to do. Anyway, so she got an excessive speeding ticket one time, and she had known this judge for many, many years when he was the Commonwealth attorney, because her sister worked for the other one. He somehow pulls her aside. I'm not sure how it happened, but he said, 3 visits to my office and I'll wipe away that speeding ticket. So what does she do again? Well, 3 visits to the office and her speeding ticket was eliminated. Again, she could have said no the very first time, and she would have gotten a speeding ticket with a few points and a $150 fine, and this wouldn't be happening. Goodness, apparently it's happened for years and years and years and years. Not only this woman, but other women could have said no. Did I say women? Aren't there 2 genders? Men were also involved in this. They were the victims. See, I struggle with that one. The dude from News Nation ends up interviewing a former prison guard. And the prison guard had heard rumors about things going on. You know, some of the inmates were allowed to go outside and clean the parking lot and have cigarettes during their break. Things like that. So she was suspicious. There was a storage room that they would often go to, and she was never there. This woman does not look like a prison guard. Now, her appearance may have been different then, but she's got purple hair, and her interview is in a restaurant in this Lecture County, and at the table, if you go to IHOP or something, they have the little plastic thing full of different sorts of jellies and honey. Well, at this restaurant, they have that little plastic thing, and it's full of plastic silverware and paper plates. So definitely, this is one of the finer restaurants in Lecture County. She found out her suspicions were confirmed when a man was booked into the jail, and on the first day, he was made a trustee. They gave him a brand new mattress and a brand new flat screen, which I hear this is the norm these days. You get telephones and televisions in jail. What do you have to do? You work. What do you make? 14 cents an hour. You have to sweep the hallways, but you're out of your cell. I mean, if something changed in my life, I may commit a crime. Do you know in I think it's Japan, there are older women who intentionally commit crimes because they have no other way to sustain their lives. And they've interviewed some of them. The prisons in Japan are very, very nice. The woman said, in here, I get 3 meals a day. I'm treated kindly. They exercise me. And so this is one of those women. Japan has begun a group to try to help these women so when they get out of prison, they don't want to immediately return. And they're interviewing this woman, and she's sitting there knitting or something. She looks quite happy. I assume the food's pretty good. In Japan, do you have to eat with sticks? No, do you? How do you pick up a piece of little rice? Okay, shut up, Meredith. Anyway, the men were also offered these same release provisions. Charlie Sheen just did an interview. He said, when I was at my highest on drugs, remember Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen's son, who is HIV positive. I do not believe he has AIDS. He's HIV positive. And he said, having sex with men, having sex with men was odd. It was unusual. I don't know why he's telling us. I really could care less. But do you know he was married to Denise Richards. She's a hose bag. She has her little OnlyFans account, but one of her daughters has an OnlyFans account. Mother of the Year. Many other victims, once they were released from the jail, just left the county. She said there are some people who own houses in this county, and they've left and they're renting other places. Many, many people were totally relieved and pleased when old Sheriff Mickey did what he did. You know, he has pled not guilty by reason of insanity. They have to change the venue. There's absolutely no other way. This guy, if he gets a trial in Letcher County, I believe the majority of them are going to say he did the right thing. You know, the girl, the very first victim that we hear from, she makes a comment, you know, look at my rap sheet, and I told you it's thick. She says, because he asked her, he asks her, how many times did this happen? And that's when she replies, well, look at my rap sheet. And then, bottom line, it happened hundreds and hundreds of times. Not hundreds and hundreds. Well, it happened a lot, put it that way. She makes the claim that when you would be released from jail, and you're clean at this point, you know, you don't have the withdrawal, your mind is staying strong, that this group of men who were in this little group, this little ring, SEX ring, would send, you know, not an official undercover, not Donna Adelson undercover, but send someone out, you know, with a big bag of cocaine or whatever they did, and whoa, they accidentally run into this girl. Hey, I got some devil's dandruff. Do you want to come hang out with me? And that's how it happened. And that's how they would get back in. She said they used CPS, Child Protective Services, to get, you know, hey, CPS is going to look at your kids right now. What do you want to do? And so she'd go to the little apartment with the mirrors and the bidet. I'm trying to look at my notes for the jail woman. Oh, she said that when inmates would get sick with the flu or something, now she only guarded the women, that they would take the girl inmates back home to their mother, let the mother take care of their flu, you know, 5 to 7 days, they're vomiting and all that. And then once the inmate had healed, the mother would call, and the jail would come back, pick the daughter up, and bring her back. Why doesn't the daughter tell her mother? You know, isn't the mother sitting there thinking, how is my daughter? The jail's letting my daughter come home because she's not feeling well? This seems suspicious. From what I understand, 70% of the town was aware that something creepy was going on. The most recent news are that the Sheriff Mickey, his attorney, has gone to the judge and asked for a $50,000 cash bond. And I guarantee, if the judge says yes, the cash bond, he'll be released that night. Someone has already come out and said, hey, I've got the cash if you need it. And I'm not saying Mickey doesn't have the cash. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. The judge has not yet made a determination on that. I hope he gets out. Well, something that I looked into for a few minutes, I could not find it. There was a rumor that Sheriff Mickey found the judge's phone number in his daughter's phone. The daughter, I couldn't find her age, but from the photo, she looks maybe 16. She's got the stupid 16-year-old makeup. You know how we all looked like idiots when we were 16? She's got the dumb hair. In the early 80s, we would take a hairdryer and hairspray, spray our hair, and then hair dry it, so it'd stick up like this, and you literally walk around with a big chunk of your hair. And we were the cool girls. But she's got the stupid 16-year-old haircut. So it's my speculation how old she is. But the sheriff knows if Judge Mullen's phone number's in his daughter's phone, they've had some sort of interaction. And the sheriff knows that those interactions are not nice. They're all naughty, naughty, naughty. And everyone needs a shower afterwards. And apparently the sheriff lost his mind, obviously. So at this point, I'm Team Sheriff. We'll have to obviously find out more. If you're still watching right now, I'm shocked. I mean, I truly am. I'm humbled. Hook me up. At least hit the like button because it makes the the evil people. Oh, I shouldn't say that. At YOUTUBE. Send my video out to more people. God bless you, and God bless this America. Toodaloo.